Chapter 1: The Trap of Linear Time. Modern civilization operates on a critical, unrecognized chronological vulnerability. We call it the linear progression of historical decay, an absolute biological constraint. Every human empire, financial market, and public infrastructure grid operates within this shared timeline. Every individual, from the working class to the regional governor, ages at the exact same physical rate, and every society must face the inevitable cycle of growth, overexpansion, systemic crisis, and collapse. We assumed this democratic distribution of time was a permanent law of the physical universe, guaranteed by the thermodynamic arrow of entropy and the natural biological limitations of the human body. But behind closed aerospace and biotech laboratories, the 0.1% see a profound chronological exit. They see the collapsing trajectory of terrestrial nations struggling under debt, climate instability, and resource depletion. And they realize that staying on this active timeline means sharing the collective doom of a dying planet. The elites are refusing to watch their multi-generational fortunes dissolve in the fires of planetary transition. They are actively preparing for their complete, irreversible temporal secession from the public era by building private, hyper-secure Chrono-Stasis vaults designed to freeze human biology across centuries. They are converting their highly volatile, fiat paper fortunes into physical, thermodynamic stasis networks, establishing unmapped cryogenic sanctuaries deep within geologically inactive, subterranean granite blocks. This is the official rise of the temporal secession, the ultimate isolation of absolute wealth, where time itself is no longer a shared natural resource, but a customizable, proprietary asset class. Those who control the speed of their own molecular decay will rule the future of human rebirth. Chapter 2: Thermodynamics of Chrono-Stasis and Nuclear Loops. To sustain a biological body in zero-aging stasis for over a century, the sanctuary requires thermodynamic perfection, the ultimate power loop capable of keeping liquid nitrogen cycles running without a single second of interruption. Traditional solar arrays, wind grids, and municipal utility networks are dismissed as volatile and fragile toys. They are highly vulnerable to atmospheric dust storms, grid overload, and the unpredictable collapse of social order. To eliminate this operational risk, the 0.1% are burying micro-nuclear thorium reactors deep below. These systems deploy closed-loop thermodynamic cycles that utilize the stable thermal differential of the deep Earth crust, providing uninterrupted megawatts of clean, private electricity to run sub-zero cryo-coolers for 300 years. Specialized graphene-lined cooling chambers are constructed to house the titanium stasis cradles. The internal temperature of these pods is precisely calibrated to exactly -196 degrees Celsius. At this thermodynamic threshold, all molecular vibration and biochemical degradation cease entirely. The biological timer of the occupant is effectively paused, while the storm of the century rages on the surface. Every cooling valve, automated monitoring, sensor, and safety backup loop is powered by independent nuclear cells, preventing catastrophic thawing events, even during severe geological shifting or surface military conflicts. When public cities on the surface collapse from climate extremes and systemic starvation, these silent subterranean stasis vaults remain cold, operational, and completely unbothered. By establishing absolute control over their own metabolic clock, the elites conquer the decay of time. They build an unyielding physical sanctuary that remains intact across historical generations. Chapter 3: Cryptographic Stasis and Trustless Autonomous Guardians. Physical isolation is fundamentally incomplete without an absolute cryptographic coordination system, a digital guardian programmed to manage wealth and protect boundaries across generations without human betrayal. Traditional banks, trustees, and national legal systems are highly vulnerable to seizure, inflation, and political collapse. They cannot be trusted to protect a sleeping billionaire's estate for a single century, let alone 3. To eliminate this structural risk, The Temporal Secession utilizes autonomous cryptographic protocols, decentralized smart contracts running on unpluggable quantum computer networks, buried deep beside the vaults. These algorithms are hard-coded with unyielding protocols to manage the dynasty's financial empire, automatically executing trades, liquidating assets, and investing in raw materials and automated energy grids. The private digital wealth of the sleeping elite is protected behind impenetrable layers of quantum encryption. No regulatory state authority, tax agency, or sovereign nation can access or seize these vaulted keys. The system autonomously hires private security, drones and robotic maintenance units to patrol the surface borders, ensuring no human trespassers ever discover the physical location of the subterranean chrono vaults. Every operational cost is paid automatically through encrypted smart wallets, operating outside state control. The entire technological infrastructure of the Stasis enclave becomes an immortal, trustless sentinel, an artificial intelligence grid whose sole purpose is to maintain the purity and safety of the sleeping masters. Chapter 4: The Planetary Reset and Historical Leap. To fully understand this temporal secession, one must look at the macro-historical reset strategy, the calculation that waiting is vastly superior to active struggle in a collapsing paradigm. While the planet undergoes catastrophic climate remediation and geopolitical power transitions over the next century, the general public will remain trapped on the surface, fighting for clean water, scarce nutrients, and survival. They will endure the painful taxations of collapsing states and the lethal radiation of regional resource wars. But the 0.1% in Chrono-Stasis are bypassing this entire painful historical bottleneck. They are utilizing the absolute freeze of Cryostasis to perform a radical chronological leap, waking up only when the planetary carbon counts have returned to pre-industrial equilibrium, when automated machine fleets have completed the toxic decontamination of the atmosphere and oceans, and when the population of the surface has been drastically reduced to manageable, submissive numbers. They are not fleeing to the cold, radiation-blasted deserts of Mars or the vacuum of orbital Lagrange points. They are executing an exit through the dimension of time, waiting for the Earth to heal itself. The Chrono Vault is the ultimate time machine, designed not to travel back, but to secure the absolute future. When they emerge from their steel cocoons, they will find a pristine, unpopulated Eden. They will not return as simple returning refugees, but as the uncontested genetic and economic gods of a new era. Chapter 5: The Neo-Temporal Caste System. The rise of the Chrono-Stasis enclave establishes the final, unbreakable barrier of human inequality, a division built on the very flow of physical time itself, a neo-temporal caste system. The general public is condemned to age, suffer, and die on an active, collapsing chronological timeline. Their lives are consumed entirely by the friction of maintaining an increasingly toxic surface civilization, while the 0.1% sleep peacefully in their silent subterranean cryo vaults, completely immune to the decay of biology, the inflation of currencies, and the fall of empires. They have successfully decoupled from the shared, temporal destiny of the human species. The philosophical implications of this temporal divide are profoundly terrifying. When absolute wealth owns the power to pause its own physical entropy and bypass the cycles of collapse, power is no longer temporary, and wealth is no longer subject to the natural redistribution of death. The hyper-elite no longer require a cooperative, working public society to protect their long-term legacy. The temporal exit portals are already fully constructed, operational, and silently humming underground. The age of the modern terrestrial nation-state is drawing to its final, quiet close, replaced by an unyielding, silent matrix of private, sovereign temporal fortresses. Subscribe to future Prism Lab for the hidden thermodynamic mechanics of wealth.